Hey everyone, we're going to look at how to add and subtract integers today. I'm going to get a nice pen here. I think I'll choose the yellow, no, maybe the blue one. No, yes, let's see if the blue one shows up. Can you see that? It looks good over here. Anyway, we'll figure that out in a second. So let's say we had to add two integers. Now, hopefully you've watched the video on integers so that you already are familiar that integers are these negative numbers combined with the 0 and also these regular old numbers over here. These positive numbers here, we call these natural numbers. And then these ones over here are negative numbers. When you put them all together with the 0, you get integers, okay? Over here, it says evaluate, okay? And let's just look at these two to begin with. What's 2 plus negative 3? Okay, so you could start at the 2, and then you put that together with a negative 3. Now, when you see a negative 3, it says plus negative 3. Well, it just means this together with this negative 3. Put them together. It's like saying, when you see these two signs together, you should really think of it as saying 2 minus 3. Okay? So instead of jumping to the right, instead of doing that, we are going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3 jumps. So 2 minus 3, the answer would be negative 1. You can use a number line like this. After you get used to it, you won't really need that to do these kinds of questions. Okay? So 2 plus negative 3. When you see the two signs together like that, when you see a positive and a negative sign together, just write it with a negative sign, okay? 2 minus 3. And you end up with negative 1. Okay, so we have negative 1, and if we were to go from there, negative 1 plus 8, I'm going to rewrite it. Here, let's write it nice and clear. Negative 1, which is, I got it from right there, plus 8. Well, look on the number line here. Negative 1 plus 8. So I would be jumping 8 up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We end up on 7. Negative 1 plus 8 is 7. And if you wanted to, you could do this backwards and say 8 minus 1, and you would get 7. Okay? Just like up here, if you look back up here, if you did this in the opposite order, you would get negative 3 plus 2. That would still be negative 1. Negative 3 plus 2. If you're down here and you move up 2, 1, 2, you end up at negative 1. So I just wanted to show you that you can do these in either way. Okay, so we're at the 7 now. This is where we are right now. And we have a plus negative 5. Do you remember what to do if you have a plus and a minus, or a positive and a negative sign put together? Well, just write it with a negative sign. So it's like saying 7, which is where we ended up, minus 5. And that's 2. So I'm going to start over again. The answer should be 2 for this whole thing, but let's just do it again. 2 plus negative 3 plus 8. Sometimes math teachers go really quickly, and I just want to show you a couple different ways. You can always skip this and go to the next page if you really like. Equals what? Okay, remember BEDMAS? And I have videos on BEDMAS. It's telling you what to do first. Well, when you have addition and subtraction, which is all this is, you can do them in any order you want. So I'm just going to go from left to right. 2 plus negative 3. Well, I'm going to rewrite that. 2. When you see a positive and a negative, just leave it as a negative. Okay? Then we have a plus 8 here. I'm going to just put the plus 8 again. And over here we have a positive and a negative again. So write it with the negative sign. And that still equals something. Well, let's do it. 2 minus 3, that's negative 1. You can verify that if you want up above, or you can use a calculator. And we have plus 8 minus 5 equals something. We're almost done here. You don't have to show all of these steps if you don't want to, but I just am. Negative 1 plus 8, well, that would be 7. And then we still have this minus 5 here. So these two become a 7. just like these two became the negative 1. And that equals something. And the very last step is 7 minus 5 equals what? Well, we figured out that the answer was 2. Okay? So let's practice this some more. On the next page, we're going to look at some subtraction questions. And then we're going to do a whole bunch of practice ones so that I hope this becomes easy for you. Because in the beginning, it always looks a little confusing. So to subtract an integer, you should add the opposite. Add its opposite. Now remember, we talked about opposite numbers in the last video that we did on integers. So the opposite of minus 3 is positive 3, okay? So the opposite of a number is just the opposite sign, okay? We can evaluate expressions like the one above without using a number line. We don't really need the number line. We just replace all the double signs, every time you see a double sign, with single signs. That's what we did on the very first page as well. And then add or subtract from left to right. It's exactly what we did on the very first page. Okay, and remember these rules right here. If you see two double signs that have two positive signs, well, that just makes a positive. If you see two negative signs put together, kind of like right here, we're going to talk about it in a second. If you see those two negative signs, they will make a positive sign. Okay, and that's what it says right there. There we go, there we go. And lastly, if you see a positive and a negative, just like we did on the first page, that makes a negative. Okay, I'm going to review. Look back here. Look at this. We had a positive sign and a negative sign. That made the negative sign right here. Hopefully I've repeated that so many times that you're starting to catch on. Let's look at this question. 3 minus, and then in brackets, negative 6 minus 2. Some math textbooks and some teachers write it 3 minus negative 6 minus 2. But that looks confusing because you get this negative sign and another little negative sign there. It's kind of confusing. In fact, this we often call a minus sign, and this little one we call a negative sign. Your calculator probably even has that on it, but I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, let's do this question. Have the 3. What happens with the two minus signs, people, or the two negatives? They become positive. Here's a minus 2. It's just a single sign of a minus sign, so let's just leave it like that. And we can do this in our head right now. 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. We are done. Can you do this on a calculator? Well, I'll just pull one up really quick. This is from my computer. Let's try it. 3 minus negative 2. Whoops. No, that's this calculator. You have to write it in a little differently. 3 minus 2 negative minus 2. Sorry. Start over. 3 minus negative 6 minus 2. There it is. You can see it up here, and you can see that the answer was 7. See how confusing the calculator, we had to write it in this way in the calculator. I don't know, the bracket looks nicer. Anyway, I just wanted to verify with you that the number is actually 7. Let's practice this so that even if you're still confused, hopefully this will make sense. Let's use a nice purple. What's 7 plus 2, people? Okay, that was a little too easy. Let's get on to the next one. When you see a plus and a minus sign together, and you're adding or subtracting these, which we are, 5 plus negative 3. Remember, it's like writing 5 minus 3. Okay? And what does that equal? 2. Done. Negative 4 plus negative 6. There's two signs here. It's a double sign, so the negative wins out according to our rule. What is negative 4 minus 6? Well, if you owe $4 and you owe $6 more, you actually owe $10. Or if you don't like money examples, think of it as temperature. It's minus 4 outside, and it gets 6 degrees colder, minus 6 colder. You're now at negative 10 or minus 10. It's very cold. Okay? In the US, they say Fahrenheit, minus 10 Fahrenheit, which is very cold. Okay. Here we have negative 8. We've got a double sign, people. It's plus and a minus. That becomes a minus. You owe $8. You owe another dollar. You actually owe $9. we're at minus 9. Here we are, negative 5. It's a double sign, minus 3. Negative 5, minus 3, negative 8. Feel free to push pause and try these questions and then see if I come along and get the same answer as you. Hopefully I do. Sometimes if we don't get the same answer, it might mean I made a mistake. We don't know. I am not perfect. Okay, negative 10. We've got a double sign here, plus and a minus. That's going to become a minus. Negative 10 minus 2 is negative 12. Is this becoming easy for you? 7 minus 3 is, careful, it's 4. Okay. Negative 8 plus 4. Well, you owe $8, but you give them $4. You still owe them how much? $4. You still owe $4. Or it's cold outside. It's minus 8. It gets 4 degrees warmer. It's now minus 4. Okay, let's keep going. Subtraction. 8 minus 3. Well, that's easy. That's 5. 5 minus 7. Be careful. Use the number line in case you don't understand. If you're at number 5 and you jump down 7 places, if you're at 5 and you jump down 7 places, you're going to end up at minus 2. Okay? Or negative 2. When you see two signs like this and they're both negative, they become positive. So 1 plus 6 is 7. When you see two double signs and they're both the same, like they could both be positive or they both could be negative, you're always going to end up with a positive sign. 10 minus 4 is 6. You knew that already from a long time ago. 5 minus 11, a little bit strange because you're taking away a bigger number from a smaller number. Okay? Well, if you do that on a number line or a calculator, you will see 5 minus 11 is negative 6. Okay? And on this one, negative 3, two negative signs make a positive sign. Negative 3 plus 4. You're down 3, you move up 4, you end up at the number 1. Okay? Negative 3 again, plus 7. We end up at 4. And last one, 3 minus 9, negative 6. You can do these on a number line if you like and verify what we just went through. But I believe that is the last question for today, and that's the last part of this video. Have a good day, folks. Bye.